now that we're getting everything figured out and talking to a couple people that are much smarter when it comes to Valvetrain and airflow than I am, we have pretty much deduced that we have the wrong camshaft in this car. We've got a couple other things ironed out as well. We found out the cause of my little drip that I had in the rear end, which was just a bad crush washer on the drain plug, and that the diff was actually overfilled by about half a quart. I went off what I had originally found for 3 quarts for a Harrop diff cover. That turned out to be incorrect. I had filled it when it was outside the car to just not deal with it. When I replaced that crush washer, didn't have a whole lot of fluid come out, but I pulled the fill plug and it was quite overfull. Never really presented any problems drivability wise, since again the car is still driving wonderfully. I mean, it still made great power, but we have figured out why the car is using so damn much fuel, even though obviously the dyno wasn't really the happiest with us. The camshaft that's currently in this car is a 247 25X, and it's a 114 or a 115 LSA, can't remember off the top of my head, and a 675 lift camshaft. So that's actually going to be more of a Procharger-ish, more of a nitrous geared camshaft. Pretty much we have too much overlap with the intake and exhaust valves opening. So we had Kyle at Thompson Motorsports review the log, and a couple other people. We had the guys at BTR review the log, go over the camshaft specs and everything that's inside of the short block in this car. And we have all pretty much come to the agreement that we are not quite right. Things have been busy. I'm now a married man. I was very thankful that this thing ran just fine. I was able to take it to the wedding day, and my now wife and I were able to come home to a nice dinner with our families in this thing and be able to park it back in the garage as husband and wife. So obviously fairly happy with it. Of course I had to go with a carbon fiber ring because it's me. Back to the stuff everybody, or at least all 4 of you, actually care about. So we've got a new spring set along with a new camshaft. We went through a couple different spring options. Obviously, since this is a fairly sizable cubic inch motor, we needed a pretty serious spring, since this will turn 7,500-ish RPM. At least it would on motor. Since we've been having Valvetrain control issues, we ended up going with the fairly heavy 685 double platinum spring from BTR. So these are some pretty hefty units right here. These are based off of a personal recommendation from Mr. Kyle Beaumont at Scram Speed, one of the co-owners of the shop and tuning facility. And these are actually what he runs in his personal car that went out and swept his class in drag week this past year. Got a whole new set of these, so 16 springs. And these are supposed to be pretty much about as good as it gets, without short of going to some crazy, wacky, super high dollar pack spring that you can get off the shelf. So we'll be doing new valve springs, seats, shim kit, seals, just to make sure everything's fresh and correct. They do want a specific seal, I believe, that BTR supplies with these valve springs. We've already confirmed that they'll work with these valves in these Mass Motorsports 245 Cathedral Port LS heads. And the good stuff. So this is a brand new billet core BTR. This is a 229 250X. I believe it actually grinds out somewhere between a 258 and a 259, but this is a 675 or a 680 lift camshaft with a 117 LSA. This is pretty close to their off-the-shelf PDS V2, their biggest variation of it. There's probably going to be no real discernible difference in sound or drivability, but because this is meant for 427 to about a 440 or 434 cubic inch LS car with a nice set of heads and a blower on it, being a PDS specific blower, I think this will actually be the key that helps us out. Aside from that, the car has done great. It was really nice during the wedding that a bunch of friends came back into town that had moved over the past couple of years to different parts of the country, and it was just nice to be able to see a bunch of family, a bunch of good friends, get caught up with people, have lunch with guys I haven't seen in 3 or 4 or 5 years, and be able to be a husband and now have a wife. But hopefully within the next month we will be back at Scram, hopefully slipping a new bump stick into this piece of shit. I still have to get a hold of my body guy at some point in time soon to get my due speed situation figured out, since we need to actually do the volumetric math and make sure that we have enough plenum volume within the due speed itself in order to feed this, because this, we again figured out that this was choking 2 pounds. When we took this off, it made 18. This on, along with the elbow, it made 16 pounds. Still need to figure out the belt rub situation since it's pretty damn close. You can actually see in certain areas that there's rubber dust from the belt slowly eating itself on the inside and on the outside edges. But right now it seems to be okay. We don't have any belt slip issues, but I'm very glad I hang on to my 3.4 inch upper and my 3.1 upper, because right now it's got a 295, so we're kind of at the upper edge of what this head unit likes to run RPM wise. We'll probably step back down to the 3.4, try that on the dyno. We'll throw the old belt back on for that, since that's a pretty quick deal. It's 4 bolts, pull the throttle body off, one disc or one cable, pull a couple zip tie or cable tie connectors out, and then the whole shroud comes out and we can swap the belt in 5 minutes. So that's pretty cake. But we'll start out on the 3.4, step down to the 3.1. We'll see what the car does with the correct camshaft and it actually using all the air it's getting pumped. And then maybe we'll go down to the 295. Aside from that, I also got my new old stock front bumper installed. Thank God, no more broken bumper clips. Looks super nice. I'm really, really thrilled with the completely shaved look. Even though there's obviously going to be a base difference between a composite material and sheet metal, it's a pretty damn good match for never having the car there. This was the same paint batch that was sprayed on my SAP skirts. And obviously from the side and out in the photos that I've taken out in the sunlight in various lighting conditions, it's a pretty damn good match. But we got the grills fitted a little bit better. I actually lost one of my kidney grill retainers on the passenger side, so thankfully I had a couple more of those spare sitting around. I'd picked up from Mr. Josh Moore at East Coast Holden Parts, so I had a baggie of those sitting around. They fit a lot nicer now. I'm still loving the shaved look on the bottom, no tabs. We're going to be redoing the heat exchanger, so I'd like to put a bigger heat exchanger in this. But hopefully the camshaft will also help us solve part of the heat soak issue that we had too, because I think this blower is just working so hard pumping air instead of pressurizing air. And I'm sure the RPM from this 295 upper with the fairly sizable lower is also causing that issue. So here in a month, we should be back on the rollers. Should be about a day and a half job to get a new bump stick slid into this thing. Get some springs whipped on it, which is probably going to be the worst part aside from just disassembling the whole blower belt drive, even though the whole passenger side, or side on bank one, my apologies, that actually can stay on the car. So that's going to be a lot less work than we initially anticipated. But we'll be back with the right camshaft in the car and see what this thing will actually do. Almost forgot to, the welds will short-term be retired since I've actually got 2 fucking fronts that are bent again. So I've already replaced 2 of these fronts, basically a full set, and they keep getting bent somehow. I don't understand why, but they keep getting bent. I really don't understand why, but my forward stars are finally getting done after 3 months. 3 months after being told it was a 2 to 3 week project. So those will be back next week. I already have photos that they are being worked on right now. They're being brushed pretty much as I film this, and it's May 25th right now. Yeah, May 25th. And so we will thankfully have a nice, freshly refinished wheel setup. And at last I will be able to use those new Continental Sport 02s that I've read so much good about. And I cannot wait to actually have an 18-inch corner carving setup to be able to go through some of the twisties that we have around here.